I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah.
Where do we even get that music? I've been wondering that for a while. I don't know. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the morning show. It's the best morning show in finance. I'm Spencer Israel. Of course, I'm joined by JC Parets and Steve Strazza. You know the drill by now. What's up, everyone in chat? Ken K, I see you. Good morning. Rose Joseph, good morning to you as well. You're the first ones in the chat, so you're the only ones. They got a good morning from me. What's the plan for today? Let's see what's on the agenda. We have Anne-Marie Baiynd. She's our featured guest. She is awesome. She's such a nice lady and a savage trader. She's an author of thetradingbook.com. She'll be on the show at around 9 o'clock, so a half hour from now. We'll talk insider transactions. We're still trying to wrap our heads around the big insider buy from yesterday, so we're going to follow up on that. You know what's funny? Another downgrade of Tesla. 2 days in a row. Downgrades from Tesla. We may talk about that if we have time. We got some earnings on our radar, and we're going to talk about our documentary, our big global documentary. We have a trailer. I'm so excited for it, and so we'll play that later on in the show. That's more or less what we'll talk about. There's a lot more. We have an hour and a half to go. This is the morning show. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button. I see JC and Steve. They're ready. They're telling me to stop talking. So let's roll the intro and let's go.
Good morning. I gotta say, I just want to start off by saying, Spencer, you were looking awfully svelte lately. You on the program? Yeah, looking good, buddy.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
It could be the haircut. Thank you.
You got a haircut. The beard looks good. Everything's looking good with you.
Yeah, and let me tell you. Let me give you some advice. Just because you're getting compliments, don't be like, okay, now I can just forget about everything, and you bring back the burly heavy man. You know, like take this. You know what I mean? Like, don't rest on your laurels, right? What do they say?
Yeah, if I had laurels, I guess I wouldn't rest on them. But thank you guys, I appreciate that.
Looking good, Spencer. Looking good. All right.
Cool.
Diverse insight. It's still Thursday, dude.
What did I say?
Somebody in the chat, I think, thinks it's Friday.
Oh, Diverse Insight thinks it's Friday. It feels like a Friday. JC's going to the city. JC's got big city things.
It does feel like a Friday. Actually, I'll give Diverse Insight. I'll give you a pass.
If anything, it feels. We had Monday. Monday was off. If anything, it feels like a Wednesday.
These short weeks mess me up too.
They mess me up too. No doubt about it. A lot of action. I catch myself. I'm not gonna lie. I'm catching myself before bed checking crypto prices. I also find myself checking crypto prices when I get up in the morning, which is not something that I've been doing for quite some time with volatility in cryptocurrencies down substantially. Not really much has been going on in cryptocurrency. So I'm catching my behavior shifting a little bit there, Strazza. Are you finding yourself doing the same or no?
You're falling back into those 2020 behaviors?
Yeah, actually. There's things happening, throughout the day. You're seeing major swings. Bitcoin was up 2,000 points yesterday, right? So, like, when was the last time? Anybody on the crew, Fonz, you want to go back and check? When was the last time Bitcoin was up 2,000 points in a day?
We would have to check the absolute. It only since March. I was running the 1-day ROC yesterday. You'd be
a long time.
Yeah. Okay. A couple months. So here's a question. Somebody threw out, I think, on Twitter yesterday, right? If it really is a new bull market, right, and they were talking about 2020, like, what was the game plan? What was the strategy that worked back then? If it was,
is this Twitter specific, or are you talking about equities?
Listen.
Sorry. Are you talking Bitcoin specific or equities?
It was more like, okay, it's a bull market for risk assets, so crypto should work, Bitcoin should work, and I get that, and I see that that's happening, but isn't the play the altcoins? Was kind of the question, and I thought to myself, I don't know. We simply won't know. It was last time. That was the playbook that worked last time, right? Buy the worst coins. But will that work again this cycle? Or will
I tried that less than a week ago, and you guys gave me shit because I was talking about potentially buying Binance, and you guys were like all up in arms, like I was like offending you.
Will the market be more selective this time around when it comes to these cryptocurrencies? Or are we just that stupid?
I think humans are definitely stupid, right? And it's not that humans are stupid; it's that humans fall back. You know, we have flaws as humans, is what it is. It's not stupidity; it's flaws that we consistently fail to overcome. In most cases, humans are completely unaware of these, evolutionary faults that we have. Almost in all cases, they're unaware. And in the cases where people are aware, like us, because we study all this shit, we still fall into these same traps as well. So it's just really hard for humans, the way our brains are wired, to be good investors. So it's up to us to overcome that. It's not us against the market. It's not us against the Fed. It's not me versus Strazza. It's us versus ourselves is really what it is. Regardless of whether you're aware of these behavior flaws or not, being aware, I would argue, is an advantage over those who are unaware, but still difficult. Should we hit the market, Spencer? Hit it, baby.
Let's hit state of the markets. What's going on?
All right, let's stick with this theme on Bitcoin. Hard to ignore this. When you talk about the state of the markets, it's JC's state of the markets. I know Strazza likes to steal my thunder sometimes, but at the end of the day, this was designed to be like, all right, JC, so what do you think? What do you think out there? And what I'm thinking about is Bitcoin, right? 2,000 points yesterday. Hard to argue that. Throw up the tech Bitcoin situation there so you could see, sort of the question that we've had. It's like, man, the correlation with Bitcoin and technology has been strong. And, we've seen tech stocks absolutely rip and Bitcoin nowhere to be found. So it's like, all right, is tech going to come down, catch down the Bitcoin? Bitcoin's got it right. Bitcoin's been a nice leading indicator in the past, for sure. Or is Bitcoin going to now catch up to technology? Time to play some catch up. Or have the correlations now changed, right? Those were sort of the different options. I think Strazza and I both agreed that the correlations probably hadn't changed yet. It's hard to bet against correlations changing. We know that correlations do change, but they're probably going to stay intact longer than most expect. So my bet anyway, was not that that Bitcoin and tech were going to be uncorrelated with one another. That wasn't the bet. It was probably more like Bitcoin was going to catch up, if anything. No.
Next chart. Show the next chart. Really, really speaks to the point that you're making. This correlation has been so strong. We have seen it dislocate like this before, but it always reasserts itself, right, and gets back in line. I think, JC, the chart you were just talking about, tech Bitcoin, we had all these great Bitcoin charts. Bitcoin against the 2017 highs. Bitcoin breaking out of this base with 25,000, right? Bitcoin, the failed move chart. But I think the tech chart really was the best information. Like, did we really want to make the bet that Bitcoin wasn't going to play catch up? It's a tech subgroup. All the other groups were working.
Yeah, and we look at cryptocurrencies, whether it's right or wrong, we treat them like more stocks. We treat them kind of like software stocks. We treat them like other types of tech. It's almost like its own industry group within tech. Is whether that's right or wrong, we'll see in the future. But right, that's how we think about it.
Because based on the information we have, that's what it is. That's what it has been. If it changes one day, we'll change our position on it.
All right, let's look at Bitcoin on an absolute basis. Start with the resistance at 30. This is the big one for me. I have exposure. We've had exposure. We're profitable, obviously, but I want to put on irresponsible exposure. I want to not be able to sleep at night. Earmuffs, Perlman, right? And maybe I'm being a little dramatic. The point is I want to have real size on the Bitcoin trade if we're above 30, because if we're above 30, the risk, in my opinion, is not that we get back to 60, 65. The risk is we go to a hundo, and if we go to a hundo, we're probably going to 110, 120, right? So, and those of you who know me know that I'm not like, oh, this is going to go up 300%. Like, I don't say those things. Like, that's just not how I roll. But I would be lying to you if I told you anything other than what I just stated. I mean, I think those are truly the implications of Bitcoin sticking the landing, whether it's on this attempt or another one in the future. If you see Bitcoin at 31, 32, holding those levels back above those summer 2021 lows, if you're not long, I think you're crazy. as far as price targets are concerned, Strazza, you know me better than anybody. I don't throw around 300% price appreciation targets very often. On a scale of 1 to 10, how crazy am I?
Not at all. We've seen this before. We could measure out Bitcoin's run that began in 2020 and ended in 21. And I'll bet you if you measured that out and started it here at the October lows, it would put us well above 100. Maybe Fonz or somebody can do that.
So you think I might be onto something here?
All right, here's the point I'm trying to make. So if I go back 2020, right, we came off 4,000. Who remembers that? 4,000 was the low. COVID.
Yeah.
And I'll measure it up to the early 2021 high in April. Okay, it was 1,500%.
So 1,500%. So the fact that I'm throwing out 300% targets, it's just a drop in the bucket.
That's my point. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
If you're looking for somebody to disagree with you that Bitcoin hits 100 if it's above 30, I'm not your guy. I'm 100% on board with you there.
And your recency bias, not an issue here at all?
Listen, I'm a buyer at 25. I was. You're definitely right. I think 30 gives you that confirmation, that real green light. It's go time. But for me, the base is intact above 25. We get confirmation of that reversal pattern at 30, and then where we go from there. It's anyone.
Why don't you tell the folks about your conspiracy theory about how you think that Bitcoin starts epic rallies on bad news?
It's not a conspiracy theory. We've seen it so many times.
Well, it's a theory.
Bitcoin bottomed on bad news also last fall, and a little shake, right? You get a shake, you get new lows, ends up being a major.
How come you didn't include that in this chart?
Because these patterns look just strikingly similar, and I couldn't draw a top on the Q4 lows from last year.
Got it. So you're removing important data so that the chart looks prettier. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I do it all the time, and it's not like curve fitting or anything. It's just the charts need to speak to the message that I'm trying Aesthetics matters. Actually, you taught me this a long time ago. You said if you're not going to talk about it in the tweet or the blog post, right, the indicator shouldn't be on the chart. Unless it's there as a part of the story, get rid of it.
Think about what a lazy bastard you need to be to post a chart with like 3 indicators, 2 moving averages, and like you're not even mentioning any of those things in your point. Like, what a lazy bastard you are, right?
No, and you were spot on, because a cleaner chart just paints a clearer picture for who you're talking to, right? And I think this one, the picture is really clear, right? We had the bad news in Q1, Silvergate and Signature being shut down, made new lows, rocketed higher off of those lows. It was just a massive shakeout. You had the bad news and the failed move. And then again, you got the SEC suits, which is big news just a few weeks ago with Binance and Coinbase. New lows, looked like that top was completing, major shake and go. You see it all the time with Bitcoin. I mean, these failed moves, we talked about it in Riot the other day. That trade worked great, right? It was sparked by a major failed move and a whipsaw higher. I just love getting into short-term trades that start like this.
I think Strazza needs better lighting. Can I get a right? I think Strazza needs better lighting.
No, what? He's got the lighting. It's not a lighting issue.
It's not a lighting issue.
It's a dark and gloomy day here. It's hurricane season. Just about. I don't have much sun. I'm not working with much sun here.
Oh my God, the guy in Florida bitching about not enough sun. Get out of here. All right, what's moving? Can we talk about earnings? What's going on?
Yeah, we actually had a couple. Kind of the only day of the week when we have any earnings of note. So let's do that right now.
All right.
We have talked about these home builders. It seems like ad nauseum now. KB Homes reported last night, and no surprise, it was a good report. The EPS beat estimates, the sales beat estimates. They gave good guidance. Here's a quote from the CEO on the conference call. He said, the improvement in demand we started to see in February was sustained throughout our Q2 as we achieved monthly sequential increases in our net orders. So each month in the quarter saw more than the previous month. We are well positioned to achieve our revenue target for the year. Okay, so good quarter. Obviously, demand for new homes is strong. We've talked about this. We know this, and the chart reflects that.
And the stock is down.
Well,
I mean, look, the stock was up 50% since the last report, which was late March. Stock has moved 50% between earnings reports.
So a lot of this is priced in, is what you're telling me.
Baked in the cake. Yeah.
yep.
So I like buying this breakout, though, if and when it breaks out. I think it probably will. If Lennar is any indication, because Lennar's already making new all-time highs, correct?
You know, by the time when you have an industry group like this, because we've talked about it on here, whether it's DR Horton or Lennar or the other ones, right?
Toll Brothers. Woo!
Right. All these home builders come out and report. KB Homes is the last one of its group to report, but it goes up on sympathy every beat that every one of its competitors have. Yep. And now it's at 50%. So the market already.
So it's down $1 and change, because a lot of it was priced in. No big deal, right?
Right. This is a nothing burger for me. Yeah.
It's a nothing burger. But man, the resiliency in these construction stocks. I mean, when people who tell you that only 7 stocks are going up, people who tell you that the consumer's dead. How do home construction stocks absolutely ripping every day? How does that fit in either one of those narratives? I don't understand.
I think that the next earnings report speaks to that even more. Spencer, can we talk about the bull market for breadsticks?
Breadsticks? Spencer's looking svelte. There's no breadsticks for Spencer.
Not in this house. Bull market for unlimited breadsticks and salads, apparently. Darden Restaurants, DRI, holy moly, with this report.
What restaurants does Darden own?
Olive Garden. They all don't they own Longhorn Steakhouse? And now, actually, they just announced yesterday, or I guess this morning, right? Now they own Ruth's Chris.
Do they really? Good for them.
They just bought them. Yep.
Red Lobster. Oh my God, they own Capitol Grill too.
Oh yeah, Red Lobster. That's right. Anyway, Darden Restaurants. You look at that chart there.
Can we talk about? Hold on. Can we talk about the biscuits at the Red Lobster? Come on.
What?
What about these biscuits at the Red Lobster? And I'm never going to go to a Red Lobster, but you can buy the frozen biscuits from Red Lobster in the frozen section. Man, these things are delicious, man.
Yeah, I'm at the grocery store.
You buy them at the grocery store? Yeah.
Yep. Been there, done that.
Totally. I wouldn't even know where to find a Red Lobster. They don't. I feel like they're never where I hear about these things, but they're never wherever I live.
There was one in Bridgeport when I was growing up, and that's the only one I'm aware of.
Bridgeport, Connecticut sounds like a good place for a Red Lobster. Yeah.
Isn't it strange? Look at their portfolio, right? They got Red Lobster, Olive Garden, Longhorn, and then Capitol Grill. Isn't that like kind of an outlier here?
What, you think Capitol Grill's a little bougie?
too bougie.
Too bougie for right?
I was surprised to see that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Rachel, right. Man, the frozen Red Lobster biscuits. Woo!
Yeah,
man, they are good. Let me tell you.
Okay, here's what they did. They beat on the top line, they beat on the bottom line, they raised their divvy, and they authorized a new $1 billion buyback program. And they gave good guidance.
And the stock is down. 4%.
And the stock is down. But I suspect that, never mind. I'm not going to offer a theory as to why. The daily chart speaks for itself.
Let's hear the theory. I want to hear this theory of yours.
No.
Obviously, the breadsticks.
I was going to say, the run up and also the Ruth's Chris acquisition. A lot of times the acquirers get offered down on acquisitions. But,
when did that announcement come out? Came out yesterday?
Well, I think they announced that the deal officially closed. If you look at the Ruth's Chris chart, that will tell you when it was announced. It was announced a month ago. Let me
tell you, these restaurant stocks, man, right? These restaurant stocks have really been impressive. And you could just see the type of market environment we're in. Where did that Greek Chipotle just IPO'd, right?
It's
getting a lot of IPOs.
It's getting down to your level, JC. Slowly but surely, it's getting there. 22.
And remember, I said that I was gonna go eat this Greek Chipotle place today. I changed my mind. I'm getting sushi.
Yeah,
I'm doing omakase with AWOL.
Paperboy Drew wants to know if we do this every day, only on days and then why.
I don't compliment Spencer every day. That's for damn sure. Usually it's the opposite. I'm usually ripping him.
JC, how often do you eat sushi? Dear Lordy.
I eat sushi whenever I am, when I'm on the road. Okay. I mean, not that New York City's so far, but New York City has amazing sushi. Underrated. People are like, oh yeah, sushi in New York. No. The sushi in New York is official. So I have a couple of sushi places by me, nothing special. You've actually been to one of them. It was pretty good. But when you're in New York City, if I'm the one hosting the meeting, we're getting sushi. If it's somebody else, I'm like, hey, can we get sushi? Right?
So,
JC, and then when we were in Baltimore, remember we were in Baltimore? It was, I Actually, we were going to get sushi, and then somebody suggested an even better place. So I guess that was my fault too. I mean, I try to eat, I like sushi.
They finally brought in a good sushi restaurant down here. I was there Friday night. They had all your fixins. They had the quail egg with the uni, all the fatty tuna, like everything. They did like a salmon egg type of like caviar thing with the quail egg too. Have you ever seen that?
Look at this guy. Jonathan wants to take me to a vegan sushi place. Are you kidding me? I'd rather get a fucking root canal than you. Oh, it sounds terrible. That's disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself, Jonathan. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Someone's asking about if there's any like restaurant. Rachel is asking if there's any restaurant ETFs. There is one pure play restaurant ETF. But it is not very liquid and has basically no assets in it. So it's EATZ. EATZ. XLY is probably just the better way to play the restaurant.
Look at that. Are we training Spencer well or what? You see how he dropped in that caveat? It's very illiquid and there are no assets.
No, I mean just look at the chart and it's got like $2 million in assets.
No, but I like how you did that. That was very responsible of you.
Oh, gee, thanks.
But we used to have the one that had McDonald's and all the other food companies.
What happened to that one?
It was, what was it, Advisor Shares?
No, Eats his Advisor Shares. I don't know.
PBJ.
No, PBJ is food. PBJ's that's like Hershey. That's Hershey's and Campbell's and Mondelez and all those guys.
Also, these food processing companies are doing great, especially the ones that really kill you. The more sugar, the better the stock is done.
You know who's not doing great? Kraft Heinz.
Dude, they're never doing great.
Disaster.
Yeah, but don't they pay a nice dividend?
Okay, right, yeah.
They pay a 4.3% dividend.
Yeah, there's your problem.
Well, it's not that it's a problem. I mean, the stock's flat. Essentially, it's gone nowhere for 5 years.
When your dividend yield is that high, it's telling you something about what the market is pricing into the stock.
Fair enough. All right, Accenture, last one.
Yeah, last one, ACN. This chart also looks pretty good. Funny how that works out. Earnings, EPS beat, sales beat, guidance. Looks like in line, maybe a smidge below the estimate, or came in. The high end of their guidance was the estimate there, so looks like it's mostly okay from a guidance standpoint. A lot of
stocks down 4.5%.
You know what? They did lower the high end of their guidance range for the year. That's what they did. They lowered it by 1 percentage point.
That's it. So, look, this starts to look like a chart that we really want to be buying above 320, but it's not going to look that way after today because we're back down near these pivot lows from earlier.
Yeah, we start getting back above those August highs from last year, and we could give it a whirl. And in fact, you can say that about a lot of stocks and be like, oh, against the August highs from last year. That's kind of like a key theme. So this is no different. So, yep, that's exactly right. Look at those August highs. If we're above that, it's fine. Below that, it's messy.
And Rachel, you're right. Shout out. Last time JC and I were in the city, or last time I was in the city with JC, we did go to Blue Ribbon, actually.
Blue Ribbon Sushi. So that's my backup.
Yeah.
Right, which is a great backup because Blue Ribbon Sushi, the one in Midtown, the one downtown sick is tiny though. The one in Midtown is humongous, and you can also get the fried chicken there, which I highly encourage you to do.
That's where we went. We went to your backup.
That's my backup. So if I'm trying to get like a fancy omakase or whatever, and you can't get a table because it's last minute, because that's how I roll, unfortunately, you go to Blue Ribbon Sushi, you're good. You're going to have a great meal. So like for a backup, I mean, it's a great backup. Epic backup.
So
best bet, plan B in New York City right there.
So I saw something in here about the jobs report today. It's not that we're not paying attention to this stuff. It's just that, it rarely really matters. Initial jobless claims came in at 264. We were expecting 260. Continued claims 1.76 million, expecting 1.78. Really nothing here. Chicago Fed activity index actual came in at negative 15 basis points. We're expecting positive 8 basis points. Nothing here.
No, jobless claims haven't, like, they really never moved the market except for like a 1 month span in March of 2020, or maybe it was April 2020, when everybody lost their jobs at the same time, and then jobless claims moved to the market.
I'm pretty sure you two are going to be jobless if we don't move on from this conversation. Can we move on? Can we see what's moving?
You
This
know,
is ridiculous. Jobless claims. Who gives a shit? Come on.
analyst stuff, Spencer. This B of A upgrade on Broadcom is just bonkers.
All right.
Are these the same sell side companies that hated tech stocks just at the beginning of this year? These are the same companies now, right? With these record price targets.
Yeah, but they're chasing. That's normal.
All right, just
Hit it, Spencer.
What's moving? I don't even know.
Tesla down again. By the way, great from Kimmy yesterday. She was looking to come in shorting Tesla on that gap up, and down again this morning, by the way.
You know what's up today? Funnily enough, Overstock.com. You know why? Because they're getting the Bed Bath assets for a steal.
Stop
Love
it.
for
Are
them.
you serious?
No, I'm being completely serious.
It's crazy. We continue to see it where the new players in this space that don't have, all these fixed costs and aren't paying for all these properties and real estate are just scooping up the traditional big box retailers or, people who are stuck in malls or whatever. It's just happening again. I'm surprised it wasn't Wayfair. Actually, I'm surprised it wasn't Wayfair.
Actually, it's not every Bed Bath asset. It's I don't think they got the Bye Bye Baby. I think it was everything but the Bye Bye Baby.
DC loves
my wife's
doing
my wife spends a fortune at that place. Are you kidding me?
I'm reading the chat now. Chat's funny. Yes. Okay. We need to promote ourselves more. This is true. We do. JC, they say you need to go on the compound and talk about this show.
I'll be on the Compound and Friends in about a month or so. They're telling me that I need to go to Masa and skip all the backups. It's hard to get a table at Masa. Jeez.
All right. What else did I have moving? I thought the Tesla downgrade was interesting because that's 2 days in a row. You really don't see that.
Who downgraded him this time?
Morgan Stanley. Did I get that?
That was
right?
yesterday.
Oh, that was today.
Oh, yesterday was Barclays.
Yesterday was Yeah, it was Barclays. So
Throw up the chart of Tesla there, Fonz. Throw up the chart of Tesla because I think this thing's got legs. How many times have we seen these quote unquote head and shoulders tops, these massive topping patterns, sort of break down and quickly reverse, and all it ends up being is just a consolidation within an ongoing uptrend, which Tesla obviously is in. So, I think that the risk is dramatically to the upside, like dramatically so. There's trouble up here, obviously, from the peak of 2021, all that churning at the end of 2021 and into the summer of 22. So there's still work to do. But, in my experience, I've seen these things so many times for so many years. And the common theme is they tend to go beyond even my wildest expectations, even when I've been bullish these things in the past, because if we learn, shout out Brian Shannon, from failed moves come fast moves in the opposite direction. That's exactly what we're seeing here. Not a topping pattern after all. And, for those of you who are like maybe reading books about technical analysis or first reading blogs about technical analysis, one thing, and these books are great and the blogs are great, sure, but one thing that they do a poor job of is reminding everybody that as much as they're talking about reversal patterns and head and shoulders patterns and right, all of these, those are rare because asset prices trend. So there's a much, much, much higher probability outcome that asset prices will continue to move in the direction they're already going in versus completely reversing. So if you're always looking for reversal patterns, which I think a lot of maybe newer market participants and technicians tend to do, is look for reversal patterns because that's how they've been trained. The fact of the matter is it's the exact opposite, right? We want to be trend followers. And, if you're going to be fighting a trend, you better have a really good reason, number one, and you better have a really, really strict risk management procedures. That's how I look at it. So, to me, I like buying any weakness down towards 200 in Tesla. And I realize we're nowhere near that. We're right around 250 right now, but any weakness down towards 200, I'm a buyer. How do you feel about
that? Do we have an Avago chart? Broadcom.
We don't feel on about that, JC, to answer your question. If we have Avago or Broadcom, let's do it quickly because our guest is here and I want to get her on. And I'm not seeing Broadcom. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and assume we don't have it. Okay, let's bring on our guest. We'll do Broadcom after. Anne-Marie Baiynd is our guest today. Oh, man. And Mike said, I've known Anne-Marie for a few years. She is sweetest lady, but just like a savage trader. She's the author of the trading book. And I see her here, so let's get her on the show right now. Where's my intro bumper? Oh, my Geffy. There it is.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie.
How are you, fellas?
What's
Look
up?
at this group. Been around a long time.
Not bad, huh? Not bad. Look at us.
Yeah. Weathering the storms.
So Anne-Marie and I, fun fact, I don't know if Spencer and Strazza know this, but Anne-Marie and I go way back to the original StockTwits blog network, right?
Absolutely, we do. From the
The kids these days don't know. They
I
don't know.
Those were fun times. Actually, I was just thinking about Howard this morning, and he really brought such a fun group of us together, and a lot of us still talk to each other. I think it's very cool.
I mean, we have friends, yourself included, and many others, guys like Brian Lund and Brian Shannon and Joe Fahmy, Josh Brown, I mean, Phil Perlman. I mean, the list goes on and on.
No.
This goes back to, all of this, to give the kids a little history lesson before we get into the market, all of this Twitter, FinTwit, social media, blogosphere, all of this was sparked by the great financial crisis. Everybody finally stopped trusting the media. They're like, you guys missed this completely. You guys suck totally. The government, obviously, it was just, there was just no reliable place for information. And there were a couple of blogs like Barry Ritholtz and Business Insider was doing some stuff. And it was really like, you know what? We don't need traditional media. Like they're journalists. They don't know what they're doing. We can just go straight to the source. If we want to learn about what's going on in the economy, we can go to the blog, the economist that used to work for the Federal Reserve or whatever. If you're interested in technical analysis, there's technical analysis blogs. If you're interested in fundamental, deep value, you have those guys too. So, it's kind of like just skip the media and their marketing and narrative pushing. We don't need that. So that was 2009, 2010. And here we are, 2023, and it's this global monster communication network. It really has been fascinating to see, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, it sure has. And I gotta say this. I found out from Spence, hey, we want you to come on the show. And so I started watching a bunch of episodes. And I have got to tell you that I love your actionable oriented, data-driven show. It's really different to a lot of the shows out there. It's really different to most of them. So hat tip to you pulling up everybody together. It's really amazing. I'm excited to talk about it.
It means a lot coming from you, right?
I've seen a lot.
I'll take all the credit for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, take Anne-Marie tells it like it is. She's a ball buster. If our show sucks, she'd be like, guys, you really need to step up your game. And by the way, shout out to Anne-Marie. You haven't aged a bit. We've known each other almost 15 years. You look exactly the same as you did back then.
Well, yeah, my cheeks are a little chubbier.
All right.
Mine too.
And Anne-Marie, what are you seeing out there?
You know what? Everybody's talking about seasonality. And so there are a couple of interesting things. I think people use seasonality really incorrectly. But one of the big things that I think is a really nice spot to look at is seasonality in biotech. And it's incredibly robust. And right now, actually between June the 14th and August the 2nd, it's one of the biggest spots where biotech really runs. And so if you just look at IBB in general, I saw an excellent piece of analysis come out that said, hey, if you only chose to participate during these periods, the return is absolutely outsized. And so things inside biotech look great. If you're nervous about biotech, then take a look at that IBB. It's coming in. Yesterday, it was about at 129 or something like that. And that is looking like a pretty good space where you could pick it up. Remember, when you take a look at seasonality, one of the big things to really focus on is, seasonality says this, but always go back to price. Price is master and commander. And if you just focus on that event, you're going to see that things go better for you in terms of just, running with the next notion. The next thing that I really like is quant stack. Go ahead.
That was a weird audio hiccup. I'm not sure what that was. Keep going.
Sounded like a giant sneeze. Well, the next thing is looking at oil. And so I love these quant stats that come out daily. InvestQuant puts them out, and they have they set them up at placeyourtrades.com. But today in oil, the gap down says look for those levels that will come in from the support zone, probably around the 70-50 area. And as it comes in, it's a nice buy. And seasonality, of course, is also kicking in with this. If you don't trade the futures, I'm a huge futures bug, but you can also look at the USO and see that that is coming in at, I think it was like 64 and a quarter yesterday, something like that. Any fades that you see there, they're also looking at buying events. There's a lot of interesting things going on the underside.
How about
Anne-Marie, are you trading a lot of futures these days? What's your percentage of futures to equities to options?
I love the option chains and I love the zero DTEs. I'm sort of
Do you
really?
Junkie. Oh, total junkie of the zero DTEs because I use the quant stats, and so I know how to get out of. I know how to stay out of trouble, and so I know. It's terrible, but
it's not terrible. I respect it. I love it. I love all of this.
I'm about 75% futures and 25% options. I rarely go directly into the stock unless it's, something like Mara that I bought when we had the very big dip down in 2020. I bought it for like $2.
Well, Anne-Marie, but you're essentially using that as a call option. So the rare occasion where you are buying the common, you're literally treating it as an option. So
absolutely,
it's almost like not even fair.
Yeah,
you're not an equities trader.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I admit it. I'm not an equities trader.
Wait, Strazza, what was your question?
No, I was just going to ask. Talking about crude oil, what are your thoughts about energy stocks right now?
Okay, so I think the insanity of we never need to use any fossil fuel ever again is sort of coming to a state of people going, wait, what was I thinking? And so there's room to run. My favorite thing to do is look for those really strong ones and let them have a catastrophic down day into trend lines and pick them up. I like it. If you're talking about investing, I love the long outlook for it. But instead of buying a leap, jumping into that option space, I'll do a custom butterfly, like a 1x3x2, and just let it pay for itself out on that end. But, we've got to get out of the crazy and find that balance there between, yes, we need other places to find energy, but we're still going to be in this space where oil is the anchor to a lot of things that we do. So I like it. I think they're doing a lot, but we have to watch industry turn around. And by that, I mean hedge funds and Wall Street turn around and say, hey, we're getting reinvested here for the long haul.
Anne-Marie, last time we spoke, and I know you're price driven, so you don't let these narratives sort of get in the way of your positions and everything like that. But last time we spoke, you were talking about like a currency crisis and how you thought like a currency crisis was imminent. You want to sort of update me on your thoughts?
So I do think that we are looking at a slow moving train wreck that is coming simply because fiscal policy is just absolutely out of control. And so when we're taking a look at all of the spending against all of the debt, at some point the levee's going to break. And so my suspicion is it begins with interest rates in emerging markets where debt becomes impossible to roll. But again, those things sometimes take 30 years to unfold. So Steve, you had a question?
Yes. I think going back to what you were saying about energy, like the large, multinational operators, like the big integrated companies, Exxon's, Chevron's, Conoco, they'll probably continue to benefit off of us continuing to use fossil fuels. But when we eventually do make that transition to alternatives, they're probably going to lead that charge too. So for long-term investors, they're not a bad option to just bet on the future of energy. And I think that gets missed a lot because we're trying to separate like alternatives from fossil fuels. They're going to be the same, and it's going to be the same.
Well, they have to, because they have to portray the image of forward thinking and forward looking sort of things. But, we'll play this game until, we'll get up one morning and 3 of the chairs that we've been playing musical chairs with have fallen out. And I still think that comes from a currency event. So
this story sounds familiar, guys. Like, we're talking about how the big players in energy are going to end up being the alternative energy leaders and things like that. It sounds like what's happening in artificial intelligence, does it not?
And
it sounds like it's happening in crypto and the banking space, does it not? Like, there's a lot of familiarity here. So, I hadn't really thought about that in energy, Strazza, to be honest, until you just mentioned it 2 seconds ago, but it's consistent with everything else that we're seeing. Yeah. So who would have thought that Chevron and Exxon would be leading the alternative energy space, right?
Yeah.
It tends to be the companies with the deepest pockets, right?
Exactly.
Google's and your Apple's now leading.
And the best connections.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Saudi Aramco has got 23% of their investments in alternative energies.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's huge.
Anne-Marie,
the other 75% are in sports teams, apparently.
Spencer's got jokes. Rachel wants to know. She thinks it's cool. This 1x3x2. She wants to try this custom butterfly. You want to walk through that quickly? Exactly what that means.
Okay, so you would look for the strike that you like, and then you would buy the long there. And to finance it, you'd go further out of the money because you're anticipating a rise up. You would sell 3 of that next strike, and then you'd go further down again, and you would buy 2. So you are in a fixed risk, fixed reward event, but it gives you fantastic opportunities for motion. And you can do that in 1 DTEs. You can do that in 0 DTEs.
Notice how she smiles when she says that. You can't help but smile when you say it, Anne-Marie. You're truly a junkie.
I totally am.
You can't even hold your enthusiasm.
I hope I trade until I'm 100. I really do.
It's working for you.
Next time Sean does his option spaces, we're going to reach out to you, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, Anne-Marie, we're going to continue this conversation. This is really great. Real quick, before we let you run, what are you buying today? Anything? What's on your radar?
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at oil. Looking at oil.
The commodity itself, not the company.
Yes, CLF. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. How high do you think it goes?
Well, you know what? I'm not in the business of doing that. I'm usually in the business of saying if it comes down into this level, I'm going to find some buyers. So I'm going to watch for the dip after the release and maybe position just in front of that with one of those 1x3x2s if I'm into it, or just straight out the long futures. So looking at about 70, maybe into 72.50.
All right. I like it. Come back soon. Bring her back soon.
All right.
Anne-Marie Baiynd, the links to her Twitter, to her site, for her book are in the description. Anne-Marie, always a pleasure. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks, gents.
Adios.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All right. From one awesome trader to another, let's bring on Kimmy Sokoloff, see what she's buying today. I have a hunch she always wants to buy something or sell something. One or the other.
That's what she does. Kimmy.
Hi.
Man, you were having such a great day yesterday with six successful trades, but that one loser, just killed your streak. I mean, what were you thinking
So
there, Kimmy?
I bought Amazon Friday late in the day. I just said, I'll throw it on, see if I could capture like 50 cents in it. And it didn't go. It kind of popped close to it, but didn't move. So I said, okay, I'll keep it on. It's only Amazon, but I bought small Friday. I hate trading Fridays, option expiration. I said, I'll just throw it on, see if it goes. And then it bounced above it on Tuesday, above 127, And then yesterday it got a downgrade. So I went, bloop. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to sit in it. It could go back up. I'll come back in. So, I just kind of
all
moved
right.
along.
So just messing with you. One loss, but plenty of winners. Yesterday, Adobe bought Adobe for a profit. Bought Caterpillar, took a profit. Bought Caterpillar again, took a profit. STLD Steel Dynamics for a profit. Exxon Mobil for a profit. Small profit, but profit nonetheless. Kimmy on fire.
Exxon couldn't get going. Obviously, oil is getting hit this morning. We have inventories out, right, at 10:30 or something this morning. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I have them on my radar. I'm watching Chevron. I'm watching Exxon. Yes, they couldn't get going, so I didn't feel like sitting in it. So I just killed it. I was like, I'll take my 10 cents, walk away.
All right. So you're calling out Lockheed Martin this morning, looking for a breakout. I take it. You want to see, let me see if I guess, maybe 467 if we start taking out 467, or are you looking to buy a dip instead?
Well, what I'd like is for it to rest today. So I try to buy it Tuesday. Sorry, it's a short week. I tried to buy it Tuesday and it didn't go. So I stopped out of it. I'm like, and then yesterday I missed my alert and it flew. As you could see, Look at the movement yesterday. That happens, right? So I missed it yesterday. So I'm hoping for a little rest. Hopefully it stays within yesterday. I talk about when you have a big bar, a big movement, sometimes it could pull into half of yesterday's move. Sometimes. So I'm going to see if it pulls in some and then gets going again, and then, we'll see. It might not be today or not. The market we have Powell again speaking. He spoke yesterday, at 10 in the morning. I mean, I wish he would go on at 12 p.m. on.
I wish he wouldn't go on at all.
Or never. Yeah, I was going to say, or maybe never. That would be better too.
He talks too much, that guy.
That's true. That's true. So he comes on this afternoon. The market's going to be waiting. A lot of names are sitting at support, sitting at moving averages. So it's hard to know which way, even the indices, right? The SPYs and Qs a little bit below their 8-day moving average. I'm watching to see they hang on here, they move or not. We could sit in almost like a standstill today.
Kimmy, I was going to ask you, one of the things I'm noticing from my own observations and trading habits, I mean, I'm buying bank stocks, I'm buying all kinds of random things. You most definitely are doing the exact same thing. I mean, just looking at yesterday, Caterpillar, Steel, Exxon, Adobe. I mean, you are trading. Now, you're looking at Lockheed Martin now, which is aerospace and defense. We're seeing a lot of sector. What I'm saying is there's a lot of the sector rotation that we're seeing, right. Even in a down tape, stocks ripping, and vice versa in an up tape, stocks selling off. Can you comment on the current environment that we're seeing?
Yeah, so it's a little rotation. Tech is extremely overbought. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's so overbought. It's hard to I really, get movement in or interest in it. I'm kind of okay, look at these names that are kind of bottoming. You have nice little bottom patterns in there. So sometimes, I'm trying to, I'm in UNP, Union Pacific. Some of these railroads are moving. I mean, it has a great pattern. Does it go? No, it could, I don't know. It could fail. Okay. I thought maybe it would have pushed through yesterday. It might not. So, sometimes you just gotta, you stay in something, see if it goes. I try to, that's it. And people you have to understand, you can't be scared to stop out. You could come back to a name. No big deal. Not that's no big deal. You don't want to take a loss, but at the same time, you'll be grateful if you did, because sometimes it just keeps going and it just doesn't work. And that's it. So you catch the next trade. And that's what you have to consider.
I have one last question. It's totally off topic though. Kimmy, you're in Georgia, right?
I am in Georgia. I left New York.
Savannah girl.
You're in Savannah. Have you ever been to Mrs. Wilkes' dining room?
I have not, but I hear it's fabulous.
Yeah, you gotta go there. I've been Yeah, come on.
I know. It's like a cholesterol heart attack
Yeah,
waiting to
yeah.
happen.
I
right?
love how this has turned into a food show. You see?
No. Everyone makes fun of me. Breakfast comes. I'm like, what's for dinner? I am for 5'2". I'm a very good eater. I can eat better than most
All
men
right,
can.
One more. I got one more question. So, Kimmy, so Tesla, you've been looking to fade this. It continues to.
Oh, do you believe it? I didn't even, because of yesterday, I didn't even
I know.
trade it. Look at
I
that
know.
fade. I had it in my, someone could have shorted it. I was
And it's
so
down
annoyed.
again another
You know,
3.
and I
It's
was
down another
worried.
3% this morning.
I know. Someone could have stayed with it. My bad. So I am going to watch it. I have to see the way it acts. You know, I got worried because Powell's speaking at 10, and I didn't want all of a sudden I get ripped. You know, all these names started to break down. I tried to short Qualcomm Tuesday. Yesterday it dropped, and I didn't want to get stuck on the short side if something ripped, because usually that's what happens to shorts, right? Sometimes you get
especially in bull
ripped.
markets, you know.
Right.
Okay, so are you done? You're just over it, or are you still watching now? You're looking at maybe from the long side.
I'm still watching. I'm not over it. I'll watch
All
it.
right.
Not necessarily alongside. I'm
All right,
watching
cool.
it. Though.
Kimmy Sokoloff runs a live trading room every single day. That's where she's going right now. If you want to get access to the room, it is a premium room. There is a link in the description. There is a link pinned to the top of our chat. And I will once again put the link on the screen in the form of a QR code. There it is. You have no excuses.
Thanks,
you have no
guys.
excuses to at least check it out because she's there every day. That's where she's going right now. Kimmy Sokoloff. Have a great day and
Bye. Thank you.
go make some winners. All right.
All right. Have a great day,
See,
guys.
I did not say good luck today, JC, because she doesn't need luck.
She don't need it. She don't need
Yeah.
it. It's risk management is what we
Right.
call it around here. I like how Rachel says women's traders are the best. I would argue it's not so much that women traders are the best, is that we just bring in the best women traders here on the best morning show in finance. Just to be clear.
All right.
We're not sexist in any way against male traders, you know.
No, we love all traders who have a responsible
right.
strategy. Okay, let's talk hot corner here. I know we had a thing to go on for that, so let's get the hot corner ready and go.
Hot corner. So hot right now.
I don't remember the last time Strazza was this excited about the hot corner. What are you so excited about?
Like
Strazza?
last week.
I was excited about the Ryan Cohen thing last week, actually. Yeah.
All right. What do you got? What are you so happy about?
This is really good, man. I think it's an important lesson. So notice how today, and if you looked at the hot list yesterday, it was the same thing. Heavy biotech, right? A lot of Form 4s from biotech. That is normal. Why? This is insiders' bread and butter. They are so good at trading biotechs. I lived through it at SAC Capital. It's about biotechs then. It's going to be about biotechs this time. ProPublica just put out an article. I just want to read a little bit of it. It's excellent. Just came out this morning. Ultimately, what they're doing, the SEC, is they're diving into, their archives, and they're looking into some of these biotech trades over the years and what executives have started doing, right? Because this is what happens in capital markets. They're trying to find workarounds, and they've been trading. It's called shadow insider trading. And JC, ultimately, they have non-public information about their own company, but then they go trade a competitor. They don't trade their own company. They trade the sympathy bid that they know they'll get in the competitor. There were never rules against that, right? But you could see how this makes sense, right? So I'm reading through this today, and I'm saying, I don't even know if I like it. Like, is it really insider trading? Where do you draw the line? What if they pick the wrong one and they don't get the sympathy bid at all? I think that's a tough game to play, but the SEC is now coming after these guys for trading their competitor's stock based on the non-public information of their own company. So in other words, they know that their drug is going to pass like some sort of a cancer trial. They'll buy the closest competitor because they know they'll get a pop there, and thought that they would be okay. The stuff in this report is crazy. These guys were trading options. The CEO himself announcing news and trading options and competitors. I guess my point is, if you just throw it back to the table, we want to be extra aware when there's a big splash in a bio.
Why wouldn't they just buy their own company's stock? I don't understand.
Come on.
That is expressly illegal.
What do you mean?
They can't. They can't.
Why can't they?
right?
Actually, they can. They can just file.
Yeah, if they're a CEO and you know there's good news coming out, you buy the stock. That happens all the time. What's wrong with that?
No.
You can't trade on non-public information. That would probably be some sort of a blackout period where they would have to wait until the good news is released. Then they could go buy it.
Really? That's how that works?
They can just file a 10b5-1 if they wanted to. But anyway,
yeah, it's not that easy though with the 10b5-1. The whole idea there is to avoid them doing this with the 10b5-1. They have to report like a year in advance that they're already planning to buy the stock. Yeah, that is a workaround that they use too. I just wanted to touch on the Zentalis Pharma news from yesterday. This is ZNTL. It was a huge buy. And JC, you know this. We're looking at Baker Bros, right? They're one of our favorite companies to follow. Why? Because they crushed the biotech space, but they're not the only ones. Zentalis made a huge buy, over 100 million yesterday. Or I'm sorry, Zentalis got a huge buy from Matrix Capital Management. This is a Tiger Cub fund, right? These guys know what they're doing. They've been around for like 20 years. Really good hedge fund manager here. Huge stake. They own close to 20% of this company now. Throw up the drug pipeline that these guys are working on. Okay.
We look at drug pipelines now. Okay.
What the hell?
All the because this is a good lesson, right? And I'm not a biotech expert, but I do know enough to talk about it. This is where all of the action happens. 90% of the time you get a monster move in a biotech stock, it's phase 2 news, right? These guys have 3 candidates currently in phase 2. Once you get past phase 2, it's pretty much a done deal. You're getting to phase 3. So that's where like the bulk of the action is. These guys have 3 drugs in phase 2, pending approvals. I can't help but think that insider buy from Matrix Global yesterday has something to do with one of these drugs and something that they probably know that we don't. That's it. And that's totally okay for us to take that information and trade on it and ride this stock higher. I really like ZNTL, especially when we consider there's a 30% short interest in this name while an institution's buying it up. Clearly, they have plenty of things in the pipeline. They've already had one drug approved, right? So this isn't like some sort of fake biotech just throwing stuff at the wall. I think this is one to really, really keep a close eye on. And I just think the big lesson I want to get across here is pay extra close attention to the insider action in biotechs. These guys have an incredible track record. They've been doing this for a long time. The SEC and the IRS are on top of it. And this is, I think, one of the best cheat codes for when you're looking through filings. Focus on the bios.
See that, Spencer, our resident biotech expert.
What I was going to say with regards to the ProPublica article and the shadow insider trading is that we can all think of examples like when it comes to rules, right? There is always an example of something that is like technically illegal as the rule is written, but not really if you enforce it. It's not like in the spirit of the rule. And there's also examples where something is technically not against the rule, but is sort of in the spirit of the rule.
The essence of the rule.
Essence of the rule, right?
Essence of the rule, and they're just expanding that to now cover the sympathy bid.
So this is the essence of the rule, right? The essence of the rule is don't buy stocks on material non-public information.
Any of them.
Any of them, right? However, I can see the argument that says, as a biotech CEO, is it my fault that that the market has this relationship where these companies trade together, and if my company is going to have good news, then all my peers are going to go up in sympathy? Is that my fault? Well, you know what? We'll find out in court. How about that? Because that's what's going to happen here. And with regard to the 10b5-1 thing, there's an article that I'm trying to find. I can't find it right now.
They're trying to redo the 10b5-1 rules right now to make it even harder for like Peter.
Because those can be manipulated.
Listen, we see it all the time, whether it's IRS code or insider trading. They're going to look for workarounds. They're going to look for loopholes, right? And then the government and the regulators will catch up to those loopholes. And that's exactly what's going on here. So, yeah, whether it's a 10b5-1 or trading a competitor's stock, that kind of stuff happens all the time. We're looking at the filings, and we are paying extra close attention to these biotechs. Had some really good ones this week so far.
All right, that's the market opening. What do you say, Mr. Spencer, that we get into some price action? Maybe a little chart report?
Oh, we can do the chart report. Yeah, I got it up on my screen right now.
Hit it.
Guys, when we do this segment today, I want to scroll through the full report and describe exactly what it is. Like, what is the chart report? We go to this every day and we just show it and show the chart.
Well, today it's all VIX and Bitcoin is what the chart report is.
Everybody's supposed to know what it is. Like, what is it? So the daily chart report is something Patrick's doing every single day. It's a free daily email, and it covers all of the best information that was shared on Twitter that day. He does a chart of the day where he summarizes like the main talking points or the theme of that chart, and then he gives you a quote of the day, and then he drops a bunch of links and picks 10 of his favorite charts that were shared on Twitter that day. That is exactly what's going on here. How'd I do, Spencer?
You did great. And if you want to get the chart report, it's super easy. There, if you're on YouTube and you're in the chat, there's a link. It's pinned to the top of the chat right now. It's also at the very top of the YouTube description. You don't even have to click on show more. It's at the very top. It's the first link on YouTube in the description of this video for the chart report. And there's a QR code if you want it. But anyway, here's today's, or I guess yesterday's chart report. So
let's through nice and slow. Yeah, that's right. Look at this.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about the chart report because a couple of things stood out. First of all, it's all VIX and Bitcoin. Not all, but like it's heavy VIX and Bitcoin, which is interesting. Two things that are not like talked about that much, so definitely stands out. The quote of the day, also a good one. The quote of the day from yesterday's comes from Richard Russell of the old Dow theory. A bull market is a bull. It tries to throw off its riders.
So good.
So good. So good.
Yep.
Right?
And can we just shout out Mr. Larry here? Larry Thompson bringing the chart fire.
Larry Thompson, chart of the day. Shout out, Larry. You see what happens, Larry? Do you see what happens?
Big fan of Larry's. He nailed it here. You know, Bitcoin running right back into those pivot highs, which are actually also key pivot lows from 2021. So really, that's the range, JC, right? Do we break it? That's kind of what Larry's asking here.
Yeah, I mean, we break out above 31,000. We stick that landing. I will be irresponsibly long, more irresponsibly long than I am now. Can we talk about Charlie Bellello and Dan Russo? Two guys that we need to bring onto the show, by the way. How have they not come on the show, either one of these? Spencer, you got any problems? Spencer has a problem with Russo or
ask Steve. I mentioned Russo yesterday.
Are you beefing with Russo and Charlie? Come on.
These guys. No, Charlie's one of my favorite. Don't know him super well, though. You'll have to reach out to Charlie. Dan is playing hard to get with me right now. He said not until July. I said, okay, Dan.
Not until July. All right. Okay. All right. Russo only allowed on the show in the month of July.
Do you think he's in the Hamptons? He must be in the Hamptons or something. I don't know.
Bring him in. He's a Long Island guy, so it wouldn't surprise me. He likes to drink the Hamptons wine, the one from the North Fork. He drinks more Long Island wine than anybody else I know. He can have it. Charlie Bellello talking about the VIX hitting the lowest level since January 2020, and then Russo trolling the bears a little bit in their narrative. If you want to scroll down to Russo, Dan Russo, trolling the bears. How long before the perma-bear thesis shifts from breath, which is already debunked, it always was for the record, to now the VIX is too low. You know, because, you know, as we know about volatility is mean reverting, asset prices trend. So the VIX being low is probably a precursor to the VIX being higher, right? So that's the argument there. But one thing we know about the markets, and Russo will be the first to tell you, you know, the VIX could stay low for a long time. You know, not forever, but it could be down. It could be down for quite some time, for sure. And what does that mean? People are like, oh, the VIX is low, so short everything. No, it doesn't mean that.
No.
To me, I'll tell you what it means to me. It means volatility is low, so the premiums are cheap. So it means that when we go out into the options market, you know, Anne-Marie was just talking about the options market, volatility is super low. We don't have to finance all of our trades. There's a time and a place for everything. And with volatility super, super cheap, if you like a stock, you can go out as far as possible and you can get calls for next to nothing because volatility is super cheap at the index level, which of course translates into individual stocks, not all stocks, but generally speaking, volatility is low, premiums are cheap, and we find ourselves week after week not financing our options trades by selling either for a money call or selling downside puts. We're just buying the calls. And Mara is a great example. Fonz, if you want to throw up the Mara, you know, this chart was consolidating so tightly a few weeks ago that I wanted to buy either like a strangle or a straddle to take advantage of just an aggressive move in one direction or another. And I wanted to buy a put and buy a call, and because they were so cheap. And Sean's like, just buy the call. And fortunately, that's what we did. I listened to Sean. I like to defer to Sean. I overrule him sometimes, but I tend to lean on Sean's advice here, and I definitely did. Glad I didn't waste my money on those puts on that marathon, huh?
Listen, those trades worked really well. I think these Bollinger Bands tell the story as well as anything.
Mara up 2% today. All right, one for the good guys.
I asked Fonz yesterday. I said, should I dump the rest of my riot calls? Am I getting greedy? Fonz said, YOLO, baby. Let's go. So,
should you dump the rest of your riot calls? What do you mean dump them?
I talked about my riot calls on here. What day was it? I said we would do more of that, like live trading stuff for a little.
Why? Because yours expired Friday.
Yeah, I got a triple in it.
Yeah. That's too much. That's too much for my blood. Mine expiring in January, bro. Yours is expiring Friday. No thanks.
Mine also a lot more than yours.
Yeah, I got till January. Thank you.
Volatility's
cheap. We can go out and throw our shit.
All right. Let me know if
Friday.
you
get out of here.
January like me. All right. Cool.
Also, the problem with dunking on perma bears is you'll never get them to admit that they're wrong because it's a moving target. So I'm not wrong. I'm just early, right? So you can dunk on them all you want, but they'll never.
Listen,
early by definition is wrong in the market. I don't know if you guys heard.
Being early is the same as being wrong. But listen, I love perma bears. We need them. We need them. That like they're so important. It's what makes the market. You need somebody to take the other side of your trade.
Short sellers are promising to buy in the future. That is what a short seller is. A guaranteed future buyer. A shareholder is only promising to sell in the future.
I think that's a disingenuous thing to say because technically you're right, but no short seller is shorting a stock thinking, "Oh, I can't wait to buy this later." I mean,
yes, they are saying that in their minds they're going to buy it at a cheaper price.
Right.
That's what they're thinking.
Right,
what?
But they're hoping to buy it down. They're not thinking I'm going to buy it. I can't wait to buy it regardless. You know what I mean?
They know they're going to buy it.
Regardless, they're guaranteed buyers.
Yes. Okay. They know they're going to buy it, but where they want to buy it.
Give it to me. Tell me more how wrong I am.
There isn't a more reliable incremental buyer than a short seller.
Come on, Spencer.
Right.
And in a lot of cases, they're not even willing buyers. They're forced buyers because the margin clerks don't use limit orders.
And that's my argument. They don't even want to buy the stock.
Yeah.
Nobody said that they want to. I said they're only promising to be future buyers, whether it's on their timing or otherwise.
Can I talk about Broadcom now, for crying out loud?
Throw up the chart. First of all, tell everybody where they can get the chart report, and then we'll go on.
Right. Yeah, I was going to bring it back up here. But again, link is pinned to the top of the chat. It is also at the very tippy top. I'm getting a phone call right now. Tippy top of our YouTube description. It's also on the QR code on the screen right there. You have 3 ways to get the chart report. QR code, link in chat, link in description. I can't make it easier. Have we mentioned that it's free? Because it is. Get the chart report.
It's very free.
Extremely free.
So I saw a comment in the chat. I continue to make this mistake, and it's not even really a mistake. When I say Avago, I'm talking about Broadcom.
We know what you mean.
No, I know.
You're like that old man that still calls it Citicorp.
Whatever.
You know how when you talk to old guys, they're like, "Oh, Citicorp." It's like, bro, it hasn't been Citicorp in 20 years.
Citigroup? What is it now? Citigroup.
Yeah.
All right.
In the old days, it was Citicorp, right?
Okay.
Broadcom.
Broadcom. Here we go.
Listen, this stock has been absolutely screaming. The street is chasing like crazy. Bank of America just put out the street high price target. It's at 1,050. Listen, it sounds like a lot. That's 25% upside from here. That's before our next target is hit. This stock is up more than 100% since late last fall. Throw me up this Koyfin chart. I want to speak to this real quickly. Koyfin has such a great tool. Shout out our buddy Rob over there. This is ultimately showing you, let's start in the upper pane. You got the green line. That is the street high price target. The red line is the street low price target, kind of creating a bracket between price. And then you have the average price target in black in the middle, which you kind of see there. Blue is price. And then in the lower pane, we're simply measuring where the average price target is relative to the stock price. The stock has not gotten this far ahead of the street in its entire history, as we saw just last month. It's kind of unwound a bit now because the street is chasing it higher, right? But you see that little red splash lower. That's when Broadcom's price was trading well above the average street price target. So now you're seeing analysts like Bank of America just did come out here and up those price targets. You'll see that, but you have to keep in mind that this stock has run a really long way in a short while. The street is going to chase. That's what they're going to do. But I don't know if stocks like this that look like Avago, if you go back to the last chart, I don't know if these are the best opportunities right now. Let's buy the ones that just broke
this chart. Can I just say that? I don't like this chart. I like mine better. Throw my chart up better. It's a better chart. That's no, I updated it. Zoom out a little bit more. I updated it. Throw the new one.
It's really responded well to these fibs.
It has. And I think, not to toot my own horn here, but I think I drew them better than whoever drew the last one. I'm taking this back to the pre-COVID highs.
Yeah.
Right. These are the levels for me. I don't like the levels that were laid out on the other chart. I'm looking at around 900. I think this is going to be trouble for a minute. You know, it could be a week, could be a month, could be a couple of quarters, could be years. It could maybe never break out. My suspicion is it will break out again. I don't think it's going to be today or tomorrow. But you start to see this thing holding back above 900, sticking that landing. You know, the trend is higher. Look at other semis. Look at what some of these others are doing. You know, they can give you some insight as to what this one's going to do. But to Strazza's point, this thing has absolutely ripped. Understand where it's come from. The trend is still up. It doesn't mean we want to buy it tomorrow. I do think it breaks out eventually. I think the trend is still higher. I think we could see 1,300. You know, we're looking at maybe 40-50% of upside here. So that's not nothing. But I like being patient here and moving forward on a breakout. And it could take a long time. I don't know.
Are you still talking about this, Spencer?
Yes, I'm defending myself on the chat.
It's extended to me. Buy the bases that are just now breaking out. Buy something that looks like Avago did a month ago or 2 months ago, right? When it was just coming out of that base around 600.
Yeah, Stock Market Mike is making fun of me. The new one. Yeah, because the other chart that I showed didn't have the next extension, right? The top of the chart was the top now. So now we're seeing where it could potentially go. 45, 50%. It's not nothing.
Everybody in the chat, be nice to Spencer.
No,
yeah.
I think
we're the only ones allowed to be mean to Spencer.
They're not being mean. They're not being mean to me. They're not being mean to me.
They're breaking balls a little.
I think I didn't maybe make my point super great, but
Spencer forgets the way the market works. If you're short, the stock, you have to buy it back eventually.
My issue was that you're implying that more shorts is bullish. That's what you're implying.
It is.
That's why we look at short interest.
What did we talk about yesterday? Stocks that have a high short interest have high short interest for a reason.
Yeah, fine, but there's an inherent catalyst to get this thing really going if it starts to go.
So it's down 90%, so we can double. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, what's wrong with double? You're too good for a double? Too good for you?
Okay.
Like it's kind of like the dividend yield. If it gets too high, it's sketchy. Something like Silvergate or Carvana is like that's really high, and there's always
Carvana 400% return. Oh, is that not enough for you, Strazza?
Something like this Zentalis.
Okay, all right. Okay, moving on.
With a 30% short interest, that's how a squeeze begins.
I want to bring on Sean, but before I do that, I forgot to bring this up from the chart report. I loved this chart, this tweet yesterday from Jay Legan. It's corn. I just thought
Jay's over at Louisiana Tech.
This made me laugh so goddamn hard.
You know he's down at Louisiana Tech.
Can he reach out to you about that?
Yeah. He wants us to help out with like the educational stuff that they're doing over there. I'm happy to help.
Listen, I'm all for people trying to get technical analysis in the colleges. So if you're working on something like that, yeah, we're your guys.
Let's bring in Sean before we show everybody the trailer.
Yeah, that was the plan.
All right. See, not all the best traders we bring in are female. We do bring in some great female traders. And Sean, although has this female hair thing going, very, very manly and masculine.
Boys, can we all get along here? All this agitation, all this name calling, all this fronting. We're all friends here. Let's be friendly. Come on now.
Hold on. Weren't you the one who told me how great it was that you and I disagreed on the trade yesterday and how you want me to disagree with you more? Isn't that what you told me?
That was in the back of my mind when you were riffing a few minutes ago about how you like to defer to me for ideas. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, until I get it wrong, then he likes to dunk all over me.
Well, first of all, I told you yesterday I didn't like this bond trade, but after I was ripping you the entire time, I'm like, it's definitely going to work. Why don't we talk about it? Talk about the bond trade. Fonz, you want to throw up the bond chart there? You know, this is yesterday afternoon. Everybody's talking about cryptocurrencies. Everybody's talking about these junky growth stocks, absolutely ripping. And Sean, of all people in this world, are like, you know, JC, maybe we should put on a bond trade. It's like, what? Who are you, bro?
So how do we
Hey
make money
man,
in this?
I don't think of it as a bond trade. I think of it as it's just a bunch of ticker symbols, man, and it's got the chart we like. I like charts. I like ticker symbols. I don't care what's underneath.
Just
Well, to be clear, this is a chart that we all hated because we were specifically looking for the messiest chart we could find, because we're looking to put on some delta neutral trades because we've had on such long exposure for so long. Like, we're looking to diversify our positions. You really, really like this trade. I do not. I like the mentality of why we're looking for a trade like this. I like just how disciplined your plan is, and knowing you're going to stick to that plan to a T. And that I like. I just don't like the trade. I don't like the risk reward.
Hold on. Let's take a step back. Why a straddle? Why a straddle on this? How do we make money? What are we doing here?
So the reason why we chose a straddle is because we're in an environment right now where volatility across the board in almost every instrument that I track, volatility is at the lowest levels it's been in 1 to 2 years, right? And we wanted to, or at least I personally, maybe I should speak this from my point of view. Me personally, I wanted to add a little bit of portfolio diversification to my portfolio, because right now, because of the market we've been in, I look at all my positions and they're all bullish. I've got one bearish position on right now, and I've got like 15 bullish positions, which is fine. They're working. That's great. But the portfolio manager in me likes to have, when at all possible, I like to have a diversity of strategies on. I like to have a diversity of directions on.
Expirations.
So, right, all that stuff. I like to, yeah. And so I wanted to put a trade on that would potentially benefit from a volatility expansion, as well as potentially benefit from a change in market direction if we were to get one. And so TLT, and it could have been any instrument, frankly, right? But TLT had the messiest sideways consolidating chart that we could find, or one of them. And if this thing is to, you know, if the markets are going to get weird, right, whether up or down, doesn't matter. But if the markets get weird, TLT likely is going to have a move, and being long volatility at an instrument that is at the cheapest volatility it's been in a long time has the potential to pay us. Now, look, I don't have my entire portfolio in this trade, right? It's just one of many trades. I'm risking 1% of my capital on this trade. But if something happens, if something goes haywire, this could be one of those trades that will provide ballast to my portfolio, which is my thinking. Is it my favorite trade on the books? No, of course not. Every trade I put on is not my favorite trade, right? I get into some trades and I get real excited about them. They generally never work out. It's always the ones that I don't expect to do something that surprised me, and we create our own luck, as JC likes to talk about, and that happens. Maybe we created our own luck here with this TLT trade. I don't know. I'm not expecting it to be a home run for me, but I am expecting it to provide some ballast to my portfolio if things get weird. So there you go.
I don't like it. You know, Sean's trying to make 2 points here and risking one. That's just not how I like to roll. And granted,
well, no, hold on.
I'll give you, to your point, the probability of us losing all of that are very low. But when I enter the trade, in my head, it's max loss. I've already written it off. I've already written the check. It's gone forever. So in my head, even though realistically we probably won't lose it all, in my head it's gone. So if we can only make 2 points and risk one, it's just not for me. For you, you're saying it's more of a 4-to-1, which is more in my wheelhouse. But even then, it's not for me.
Yeah, it's more 4-to-1 because of the way I'm going to manage this trade. I've got it in my plan that if this spread loses half of its value, so I paid $6.25 for it. So if the spread trades down to around $3, $3 and change, I'm going to close it and take the loss. So for me, in my head, the max I'm going to lose is $3 on this trade. I might potentially make 6, 8. If it works out, we'll see.
I'm going to go out on the limb and say
it's-
here that Strazza doesn't like it either.
I'm fine with it. Like, I think Sean makes a good point. Like, it's a diversifier, really.
Are you going to put it on?
Listen, like, this is...
Are you going to put it on?
No.
Right. Thank
I've
you.
done the DraftKings one we talked about yesterday.
So
No, hey,
Strazza
JC
don't like
brings
it
up a
either.
good point. JC brings up a good point. For traders, and this is not unique to options traders, but maybe it's a little bit more urgent for options traders. We put trades on, and we like to put trades on that have an edge, right? Ideally, we're putting trades on that has some kind of statistical favorability or risk to reward to risk that works out for us. But at the end of the day, every trade that we put on, not every one is a trade that we expect to be a portfolio driver, right? We don't expect this trade to make our quarter or this trade to make our year. It'd be great if it does, and hopefully it happens. But that's rarely the impetus. Really, we want to put trades on that complement the rest of the book, right? Like I talked about this yesterday about how in my perfect world, I would love to have trades, a portfolio of 10 long trades, 10 short trades, and 5 neutral trades.
Which you haven't had in 8
happens.
years.
Well, yeah, it never happens, right? But that's in my perfect world. If I could dream up the perfect portfolio in the perfect market environment, that's what I would have.
Your perfect world is not a world I want to live in.
Oh, come on
It's
now.
just not.
It's all Goldilocks and sunshine and rainbows.
Sean, I asked you yesterday, when was the last market environment where you can have a portfolio like that? And you had to go all the way back to 2015. And for the record, I was thinking the same thing.
But it doesn't mean we can't stop trying, JC. We can't, we should still always be striving to have a balanced
Okay, I'll give you
portfolio
that.
as much
All right, I'll give you that. Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers is in Denver today, by the way. He's speaking at a mushroom, the MAPS psychedelic mushroom conference that's going on here in Denver, and he was the keynote speaker yesterday.
All right.
How crazy is that?
I don't think in the industry they're called they're mushrooms. They're just psychedelics, man. Psychedelics. All right. Since we have Strazza and Sean here at the same time, let's talk about what's happening in a couple of weeks here. We talked about it yesterday a little bit, right? Sean and Steve, if you watched yesterday's show, Sean and Steve are going to Asia in a couple of weeks. I have a trailer about this trip because this is going to be a doozy. I don't know. Have you guys seen this yet? I'm not sure who here has seen this trailer.
I haven't seen the latest update, so I'm looking forward to it. Guys, this is good.
Let's
this
see
is
it.
good.
I hope this is the latest update. Let's find out.
The following presentation was brought to you by Centerpoint.
Hey, I'm John Carlo, the director of video content here at All Star Charts.
Brokerage accounts. Oh, shit, Carlo. We're good.
I've been with the team for a while now, and we've gone on some pretty crazy adventures. From starting a wine business in Napa, California with our friend Kyle. Next time you're up in Calistoga, find Kyle and tell him I said hey. To the streets of India to meet with mentors and friends before speaking at a giant symposium full of stock traders and analysts. To searching for Japanese candlesticks in Tokyo.
If you were a Japanese candlestick, where would it be? We went all over town. We went to the fish market looking for Japanese candlesticks. They had no idea what we were talking about. Yeah, candlesticks. You know I can find candlesticks?
Candlesticks? Japanese candlesticks?
Which led us to politely being kicked out of the Tokyo Stock Exchange.
Staff only? Okay. Okay, do you know where the candlesticks are? No? All right.
And now, I'm here to let you know about our latest web series, Wall Street to All Streets, a global trading adventure. We plan on sending our all-star options trader, Sean McLaughlin.
I'm the chief option strategist at All Star Charts. You know that. That's why you're here.
And our rockstar director of research, Steve Strazza.
We're out here trying to gauge the animal spirits with the stock market at new all-time highs today. Excuse me, sir. Sir, do you mind if we ask you a few questions about the stock market? No? He's definitely not buying these new highs.
On a fish out of water adventure around the world, where they will meet with trading legends, the best traders in the world, to learn directly from them on how they approach life as a trader, how they trade, what they trade, which markets they trade, and of course, local customs. I mean, this is a travel show, right? JC Parets will be cooking up fun challenges and tasks for our adventures from his trade desk back in the States. Is Strazza ready to drink snake wine in Vietnam? You bet he is. Is Sean ready to do improv comedy in a language he doesn't even speak? Oui, oui. Join us for our adventures, and we'll see you on another continent. Wall Street to all streets.
Pretty
The
good.
following presentation was brought to you by Centerpoint.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Are you guys stoked or what?
That was great.
Look, I love that trailer. I laugh every time I see that bit with Giancarlo's voiceover at the wine.
Yeah.
Till Kyle said hi. That's gotta go.
That's the best part.
That's
Come
gotta
on.
go.
I like Strazza going like this.
I'm always sweating, so, yeah.
Dude, you go to Southeast Asia in the summer, you're going to be sweating your balls off.
Tyler Wood and I had a conversation yesterday, and it was mainly around like, what am I wearing and how much am I going to sweat? Because he's a sweater too, so he was. He's got more facial hair than you.
We're going all tank tops, all trip.
Sleeves optional. Right?
He told me that I'll be okay, so that felt good.
Dude, you'll be fine.
So listen up. I dropped a link in the chat. There's also a QR code on the screen. We have to travel first and then make the documentary. But once that happens, we will of course be releasing this to the public. The link that I dropped in there, that will get you early access to the episodes as we're done with them. Right. So you definitely want to sign up for that. Again, it's on the screen. It's in the chat. It's in the description. It's everywhere that I can think to put it, and it's going to be amazing.
By the way, if you are in any of these cities or plan on being in any of these cities in July, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong, Taipei, Manila, Tokyo, Ho Chi Minh, and Bangkok. Did I miss any? Those are the 8. If you're in any of those cities, you want to hang out with some smart folks, our Sean and Steve will be some of those smart folks, but the whole idea is to go out there and meet with the best and the brightest in each of these cities. I've been to most of these places, all of them except for Ho Chi Minh and Bangkok, and I can tell you from the bottom of my heart that these experiences have helped shape the way I think, help, in my opinion, make me a better investor, more well-rounded, and of course, I want my guys, Sean and Strazza, who are in the trenches with me every single day, to be better at what they do also, and I think this is the way to do that. If we're going to do that, might as well send Giancarlo and the camera crew with them and document it to bring it to all of you folks. So that's really the idea there.
Hey, and Stock Market Mike, if you want to get that GoFundMe fund set up for our international bail, that would be great.
Because Strazza gets arrested in Singapore dude.
I just need odds on someone losing a passport. That's all I really want.
No. It's gonna be Strazza like chewing gum on the sidewalk in Singapore. It's gonna get us in some hot water.
I feel like Strazza doesn't chew gum. I don't either.
I don't chew gum.
Yeah. Who chews gum?
Michael Jordan chews
gum. I don't.
Michael Jordan used to chew gum 30 years ago.
Anyway, this trip is happening in 2 weeks, and from there it's going to be a sea of footage and editing, and eventually we're going to get this thing out. So use the links on the screen, in the chat, in the description. You will definitely get alerted when as we're done with these episodes on a rolling basis. So do that. And of course, thanks to Centerpoint for
Giancarlo's been dying to get that bridge jumping footage of me into something, and he finally got it.
Quick, we have a request during today's recess. Did you even hit the recess bumper?
Can we do it real quick?
How could I have done that? We didn't even get to recess yet.
Hit it.
Overtime.
Hit it.
All right. You ready? Cage match, Elon Musk against Zuckerberg. Who you got?
Oh, Elon Musk, no doubt about it.
I'll take the other side. I'll take the other side all day. I got my boy Zuck.
No way.
Dude, he's been training. He's like doing like jiu-jitsu and shit like that.
It's Zuck. Vegas has the odds. It's very much Zuck. So there you have it. So negative or plus 300 for Elon. That means you got to bet 300 just to win. Or no, you bet 100 and you win 300. So Elon is the underdog here. Zuckerberg, you got to bet 500 to win 100. He is the heavy favorite in this. You're right, JC.
Here's the catch, though. Here's the catch.
Zuck's
only 5'7".
Elon is dude. He's look
6'2", dude. 6'2". He's got some
Musk
weight
is
on him.
scrappy.
He's scrappy, but I don't know how healthy he is.
All right, we got a poll going in the chat.
Zuck can outlast him, right? I'll take the stamina out of Zuck.
I'm on Team Zuck here.
MMA. He's been training for a long time. I listened to him on with Joe Rogan a few months back.
Yeah, you're not 3-1 Zuck.
No shit.
Okay,
All right,
what are the
honestly,
chances this actually happens? 0 chance.
Honestly, this MMA stuff is news to me, so I did not know that piece. But I'm still going with Musk. I'm sticking with my
0 chance this happens, right?
It's not happening.
It sounds like Zuckerberg wants it to happen. I doubt Musk does.
Zuckerberg wants it to happen because you'll kick his ass.
Right, and he knows that.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm sure smart people will tell Elon, you can't do this.
All right, I got to go. I'm going to the city, guys. I got to peace out.
Also, isn't Zuck like 10 years younger at least?
Zuck all day.
Yeah. All right. That's going to be our show today. JC has to go to the city and have sushi apparently. So thanks for watching everyone on Twitter. Thanks for watching everyone on YouTube. If you're in our chat, we love you. We love you. We love you. Smash that like button. Thanks to Anne-Marie Baiynd. Thanks to Sean McLaughlin. All the links to the things we've talked about today, the chart report, the documentary series, the hot corner, they're all in the description on YouTube. Check that out. Good luck with your trading today. Go make some money, JC. Have fun in the city. We'll catch you guys later. It's CRL. It's Thursday. Chart Request Live, 1 o'clock. Strazza and Pat. Be there.
Adios.
Bye, buddy.
Yep.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground.